Ukraine has something the US would like. Exactly what it gets in return remains an open question.
Joining me live now is Kristine Berzina, Managing Director of German Marshall Fund Geostrategy North. Kristine, welcome. Trump says Zelensky will sign a minerals deal in the US on Friday, but the details are a little murky. So what do we know about the terms of this deal and how close do you think they are?
The deal that was accepted about a day ago, both by the U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent as well as the Ukrainian economy minister, already creates a framework for what could be a future economic relationship and a path for reconstruction and U.S. commitment to Ukraine. It is very important because it outlines what the scope could be for the co-development and also the question of, quote, payback, as Trump would like to see it. Unlike the deals we talked about a week ago, and there have been various iterations that have been discussed in terms of a mineral deal, from Zelensky first bringing up this issue previously to the deal that the Trump administration had presented. This new iteration looks at future production, future revenue, and future developments, and not what Ukraine is currently using to meet its budgetary needs. So the deal, as leaked, and again, we don't know exactly what is in it besides what the leaks say, but in the leaked versions of the deal, the minerals, hydrocarbons, oil, gas, and other extractable materials, as well as future infrastructure that would support the processing, the export of these materials, would be part of this package from which the Ukrainians would give 50% of the revenue to this independent fund that would be co-owned and co-operated by the United States and Ukraine. And I know that all of that sounds very complicated, but what is important to think about is that this deal frames the future economic cooperation on minerals, which are incredibly important in issues like titanium, lithium, rare earths. The future developments that Ukraine will have that are going to be tied to cooperation with the United States.
To jump in there,
is currently using.
The main sticking point, though, of course, is those security guarantees. And we heard Trump in his cabinet meeting today saying that it's the EU's responsibility to ensure that. Do you think that there can be any resolution here? And is this going to be a good deal for Ukraine?
We don't know whether we're going to have a signature, although it's heading in that direction when Zelensky visits Washington on Friday. The question of security, which is who is responsible for what in security, is not quite clear in this agreement. And so the question is, when Zelensky comes to Washington, is there going to be a discussion of the minerals deal as a part of a bigger defense and security package, or is it going to be simply about the minerals deal? Zelensky is ill-inclined to accept the economic piece without understanding the security piece. At the same time, we have Keir Starmer here in Washington. Macron was here earlier this week, and both have been having conversations about the peacekeeper element or the other hard security baskets. In many ways, all of these strands are going to come together in Washington at the end of the week with the Zelensky visit, because Trump is not providing any exact security guarantees in this deal, but he is also foreseeing a U.S. feet on the ground, economic mining actors on the ground presence in the future. And he is tying that into a notion of a kind of security guarantee. Is that going to be enough? We don't yet know. And he sees, so the Trump's words in his cabinet meeting today were not much of a role, but not an entire exclusion. And so when we listen to what is going to come out of the meetings for the rest of the week, what I think a lot of Europeans want to hear and Ukrainians want to hear is, well, what is that small U.S. role? What is the logistical support or other support that the U.S. will give? We know that military boots on the ground is not an option. Trump has made perfectly clear that NATO membership shouldn't be on the table right now and that the Ukrainians should give up this hope. But again, that leaves a lot of nuance on how the U.S. can be supported on security still on the table.
We are just running out of time, but thank you so much for your insights and analysis. That was Kristine Berzina of German Marshall Fund Geostrategy North.